What's going on YouTube? This is DBZ439 coming at you with a very excited deck profile. That is my first place OTS Championship Millennium Exodia deck profile. I'm very excited to showcase what I have for this deck. Just to give you a quick rundown of what I think of this deck, I think it's really strong, super underrated, a really good rogue contender. Of course, you do play 5 bricks, and I think that's why a lot of people shy away from playing this deck. But the deck is so powerful that it actually compensates for it. Prior to this OTS championship, I actually went like 8 tournaments, and on the 8th one, I finally got first place. But prior to all of that, I've gotten second place, ranging from like big tournaments to small tournaments, and wasn't able to get that first place prior to this ban list that just came out. But after some modifications and whatnot, I finally cracked the code. I even beat Aditya Darp 3 times in a row, the national championship with this deck, during those tournament runs. So that's just a testament of this deck being really good and really strong. Just to quickly go over my matches before we start with the deck profile. First round I played against Phoenix with Snake Eyes. Then I played against Horus Tier Elements. Played Phoenix with Snake Eyes again, then finally played Tenpai. And I'll try to go as much in depth as I can with this deck, but here's the proof of me winning the envelope. And without any further ado, let's start with the deck. And so obviously we do play the 5 bricks and the Exodia pieces right here. I'll try to show it to the best of my abilities. Unfortunately this is getting reprinted, but they're still pretty nice. Not much to say here. Obviously, you can use the Wedju Temple to place these pieces, so you can get some mileage off of it to get the other Millennium monsters out of your deck. Another thing that people have to realize is that they're all spellcasters. So there's one time where I had to normal summon one piece with the Spellcasters Village against a Runic player, and they had to scoop because they had no out to this, which is super funny. Even I can run over the Hugin with one of the pieces, so that's pretty cool. Also, you use Exodia pieces to link climb as well, like utilizing the whole Selene line, so that's actually pretty... You just gotta be very creative. Even though this deck is super simple to play, you just gotta be very creative in how you win your duel sometimes, because sometimes they'll get banished, off the Runic cards or something, and you gotta use the trap card to like bring them back and whatnot. So we'll continue on with the main deck here. We do play a triple Sengenjin. This one's pretty good. You put it in the spell trap zone, and then when it special summons itself, you get to search any Millennium monster, including itself. So this is actually very important because it does 2 things. Also, this card cannot be destroyed by monster effects. There's a lot of times when people are trying to use Promethean Princess effect for some reason to try to pop this card. They just don't read the card. But yeah, and then also it can search itself. So you can actually, it enables XYZ rank 8 plays to help break boards. Shockingly enough, the Millennium Engine is actually a very powerful engine itself. It's being seen utilized as an engine for other decks right now. But with the Exodia piece itself, it gets you to the shield and whatnot to get you the Millennium Hunk. And the next we do play Triple Shield, the one that gets you to Millennium Monk. Pretty good. Also, when you activate Millennium Monk, these guys don't get shuffled back. But everything else would, essentially, so that's very important to note. And then next we do play 2 Millennium Treasures. Now that I was actually thinking about playing 3 of this, after Prosperity got to 1. But I tested it. It just got really bricky. What this one does is that Millennium On can't be negated, and then when it gets special summoned from the spell trap zone, you can just search Wedju Temple. So that's pretty good. And also keep in mind for this OTS championship tournament, we used a new ban list that just came out. We didn't actually use the Worlds format, which is actually, to my benefit, because then you guys can see the deck profile that I'm going to use, going forward. There's obviously changes I'm going to make with the deck, and I'll try to mention that as I progress through the deck profile. Next, we do play the 1 Sphere Mode. Sphere Mode is actually pretty good because we don't use our normal summon, other than, trying to normal summon a Sengenjin to go for rank 8 plays, but that barely comes up. But Sphere Mode you can only use once, right, because you're using your normal summon, so that's why we only played the 1. We didn't want to brick on it. And also it's very good against the Yubel matchup. There's very few cards right now that can beat Yubel, and Sphere Mode is one of them, so... Next, we do play the best hand trap ever created, Dimension Shifter. Thankfully, it didn't get hit in the ban list, but you don't ever really use your graveyard. The only thing that it would bother is like Selene access code lines, and then when your Exodia traps gets banished, but that's pretty much it. So it doesn't really do much. The next card that's probably going to be cut completely from the deck is going to be Ash Blossom. That's a hot take from my side, but I don't think Ash is that good right now. The decks just breeze by it. There's way too much gas right now, and I feel there's way more impactful cards. I'm going to consider Droll, even though that it conflicts with Shifter, just for the high impact or just even more board breakers. But even board breakers are a little sus because, I guess Tenpai, doesn't do anything going first, and Yubels have multitude negates in the form of Desiree and Varudris, so I might cut it all together. And the next we do play Triple Imperm. Of course, one of the better hand traps, doesn't conflict with Shifter and whatnot. And also, I do play like about 9 hand traps and then the 1 sphere mode, and then you'll see other cards. But in the main deck, I kind of wanted to like just build it to where, okay, if I go first, I'm going to try to win. And then if I go second, like hope to draw a Shifter or any like 2 hand traps to try to slow them down to the best of my ability, and then, try to break the board accordingly. Next, for the other traps, we do play the 1 There Can Only Be One Azaroon, and then 1 Rage. There Can Be One's insane right now. Azaroon off the Silhouette Rabbit, and then the Rabbit gets shuffled back, but you get to set the trap, so that's pretty good. And then the Rage to just blow up the entire board, so it's very, very good. Next for the spells, we do play the 1 Obliterate Blaze. I like and dislike this card, but it's a necessary evil because it helps OTK. So when you go first, you set this card off in the end phase for the Millennium Exodia, and then on the crackback on their end phase, you set this, and then this just enables OTK. So even if they were to summon like a Bestial or something like that during the battle phase, you can still kill them because it does piercing. So that's good to know. We do play the 1 set rotation, the 1 Pot of Prosperity. Unfortunately, that was a big hit. However, with the new Blue Eyes card coming out, we need to figure out 3 cards to cut, and it just made it easy now that 2 Prosperities are gone. So other 1-0s, we do play the 1 Talents, the 1 Terraforming, and the 1 Call by the Grave. We play Call by because if you ash the right card, it's pretty detrimental. And also it has a merit going second as well, like hitting like a Promethean Princess or, those branded cards, the Gimmick Puppet Lock or whatnot. So that's pretty good. And then obviously Terraforming to search field spells. I played 1 Talent. This card probably will get cut, once the Blue Eyes card comes out. Just for the flexibility, it did win me one of my matches to help break a board going second. It's really cool because like this deck can function as like a Tenpai deck in a sense because like you can play board breakers and whatnot, and then if your opponent passes on an empty board, you can just activate Millennium Ankh and swing for 8,000 with the Exodia monster. That's how I won, which is actually like super easy. So next we do play double Wedju Temple. I was playing 3, cut it down to 2 because it's too bricky. We do play about like 16 starters. Some of those starters, are considered 1.5 because you just need another monster in hand just to make them function. But Wedju Temple like allows you to like facilitate plays to get Millennium cards to your spell trap zones, and then when they die, they go to the spell trap zone, so it gives you follow up. So that's really good. And then obviously we do play triple Millennium Ankh to bring out the fusion guy. The thing is, I don't play Super Poly. I think a lot of people, I'll get to that once I get to my extra deck, but I think Super Poly is not good. At least in this deck, it may be good in the format that we're in right now. However, the discard is too detrimental. Like, you do not want to discard an Exodia piece, and then the monster gets shuffled back after you activate Millennium Ankh. Maybe for going... I think people just have the idea that, oh, we have so much extra deck space that we just have to play Super Poly. That's not the case. And I'll explain when we get there. And finally, for the last spell card, I do max out on Spellcaster's Village. This is a weird choice, I know. But like I said, like in the die rolls, like when I win, I just want to guarantee myself the win. So if you put Exodia with the field spell and then like an Azaroon, which is like, very typical to do, like you're just going to win the game outright because they can't activate spells. So when you go against Tenpai, they can't activate any board breakers. So I decided to cut cards like D-Barrier and stuff like that. It's just like one turn skip essentially, but it doesn't really solve the problem because if they crack the board, then you don't have a follow-up. However, if you play this, now that people are playing cards like Dark Ruler and stuff like that, Harpies and Lightning Storm to get rid of, back row stuff. Like, this card stops all of it. Not only that, it stops, like, engine stuff. And, this Fiendsmith engine, they have to use Tractus to, like, really get the ball rolling. And so it just hits so much stuff right now. So I think Spellcaster's Village is pretty insane. That's a 40-card deck list. Once the Blue Eyes card comes out, I'll probably cut the 1 Village, 1 Talents, and then maybe shift the Call by the Grave to the side deck, or there can only be one. So moving on to the extra deck here. This is where it gets interesting. I do play 2 of the Fusion. I was playing 3 for the longest time, but I finally cut it to 2 because I never went to 3 copies, and I needed other extra deck space for other things. But this card's insane. It's a custom card. It's a spell. It can't be destroyed by card effects. And then you can negate a spell or trap card. For some reason, a lot of people like to imprint this card on summon, and then I just negate it. Like when I go first, so it's just a hand loop right there. And then they can't evenly match you. Like if they try to evenly, like you just like negate with this, and if you have Spellcaster's Village, like it's just auto win. They try to summon monsters. You use the trap to blow up the board, and then on the crackback, you just Obliterate Blaze, and you just kill them on the crackback. So the card's really good. Once the Blue Eyes card comes out, the deck becomes even more consistent. So pretty excited for that. Next, this is where the deck gets interesting. So now I'm going to show all this at once. Fire King, Dingirsu, and Zeus. I've actually played a rank 8 package, and this comes up a lot, believe it or not. Dingirsu, because you can overlay for Pain Gainer, and you can do a 2-mat Zeus. Or you go Fire Kings, and then you can blow up the board, and then pop a spell or trap card that's problematic, and then go into Sky Thunder. One of the matches, I learned a hard lesson, and I just wanted to share so that for a learning experience purpose, is that I actually fully cracked a board, and then I made Zeus with like 2 materials under it or something like that. And then for some reason, I just decided that, like I'm in the clear. I want to go ahead and activate Millennium Ankh to summon Exodia, shuffle back the Zeus, and then my opponent nibs me. Now, the learning lesson here is just to leave the Zeus on the field, because the Zeus already has material, and if they wanted to nib, because I did go over 5 summons, they can nib, and then you just Millennium Ankh afterwards. So that was actually a really good learning lesson for me. And then I do play the Psyframe Overlord, and then the Sky Crisis. This doesn't come up too much, unfortunately, because once you use a Millennium Ankh, you can't summon this, and then vice versa. If you summon this, you can't use Millennium Ankh, but just in weird game states, it does come up. And then this is interesting, because when you play against the Runic matchup, when they played the Synchro Trap card, you can't attack only with Synchro monsters. And then if they banish all your Exodia pieces with the Runic cards, then you need another win condition. So that's another thing. I didn't play the Super Poly. These are all like the Super Poly targets that come up. And this goes really hard with Dogwood as well. Like, Dogwood has a lot of synergy with the deck. Aside from the whole time thing, you can normal summon it also to sync with the Sync engine. So it does come up. And then this entire package that I'm about to show you right here also comes up. Access Code, Selene, Silver Rabbit, and then Soldier of Chaos. So let me explain all this. This is insane right here. This helps you clear boards going second. All your Exodia pieces are spellcasters, so you can revive it off of Selene. And then Access Code can blow up a bunch of stuff, and then you can use Millennium Ankh as a finisher. Or if anything, they're used as baits, right? So a lot of people are going to use imperms, veilers, and stuff like that to try to disrupt. And then once you summon the Millennium Ankh, it's just over. Silhouette Rabbit's really good because it gets you this Azure, and then when you shuffle it back off the Millennium Ankh, you get mileage off of it, and then you can use Prosperity to banish the Rabbit as a free card. And the Soldier of Chaos comes up a lot. Believe it or not, this card actually is really strong right now. A lot of decks have a hard time adding it. You summon it easily through the whole Sync engine thing, bring out the Golem treasures, and then the shield, and then it makes it indestructible Soldier of Chaos. So that does come up a lot. And then, the Dark Charmer because of the Anima, and then the Earth Charmer because they're all Earth. So a lot of people are playing Fenrir's and stuff like that, so you can take that away from them and, start going to work. So that is it for the extra deck. And now for the side deck quickly, I do play the triple Dogwood. Like I said, it goes in tandem with Psyframe Overlord, and then the Exodia goes really big. So you can OTK a lot easier. Obviously, against Tenpai is pretty good, and then in time situations, like it puts a lot of pressure. Next, I do play a triple Lava Golem. Again, you don't use your normal summon, and it just helps crack boards. Next, we do play Duster, Lightning Storms. I wanted to play Dark Ruler and Evilly. I think they're really strong right now, but you want to kill your opponents when going second. So that's why I opted for these cards. Next, we do play Triple Power Filter. This card is really good against Yubel. Also, the only thing that it hinders you from is Special Summoning Shield, but the idea is once you set up your board and Power Filter, like it's just pretty much a game against Yubel. And then finally, we do play a triple DDG. Cards are pretty good. It's a turn skip against a lot of the decks that require they're using the graveyard. So that is pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. If you have any questions or anything like that, please post it down below in the video. I try my best to read all the comments and respond to the best of my ability. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and have a great rest of the day, okay? Bye-bye.